Good. Here is the second webinar from SOC Prime and AWS about proactive threat detection, automated threat hunting in the area of security data lakes. My name is Mark Lüscher. I will guide through the first part of the webinar, and I'm joined by Ruslan Mikalov, who will be covering the second part and the most important part, the demonstration of the art of the possible. What will we be covering today? So a quick introduction about who we are. 2 slides about what we covered in the first session as part of a session recap. That will cover what Amazon Security Lake is and what you should know. Then we will cover again some practical use cases for threat hunting and threat detection. And Ruslan will end with a demonstration about the capabilities of the platform. The quick recap. So I don't want to go through the slides, but I was promised that somebody would paste a link of the recording from the first session in the chat in Zoom and on LinkedIn. It will be made available to you very soon. To introduce, maybe Ruslan, go ahead, introduce yourself quickly.
Yeah, sure. Hello, everybody. My name is Ruslan, and I've been with SOC Prime from the very beginning as being one of the co-founders, and currently I'm leading threat research. All the threat detection content that we have on the platform is managed by my team. Either we're developing the content, doing the validation. On top of that, we're working with customers to deliver the best threat detection content we can. Been in cybersecurity for quite a few years and been working with different CM and EDR solutions, starting from back in the days when ArcSight was still ArcSight, and up until now. Yeah, that's about me. Mark?
Thank you. So my name is Mark Lüscher. I'm a senior solution architect from AWS, Boston-based. Even my accent probably won't tell it. My background is networking and security. I've been working in that space for about 30 years. Today in the webinar, I try to give you an insight into observability at AWS, and namely the security lake. To get started, and that's a quick summary of the first session, companies are facing multiple issues with security data. The first one is what we call inconsistent and incomplete data. There's a lot of data out there managed by different teams, different organizations. It's very hard sometimes for the top SOC team to get a hold of that data. We have growing volumes of security data. Gartner pretty much confirmed that security data is growing 30% per year, year after year. That means you need to do something to get it under control. Inefficient use of data across use cases. That means in a classical world, you will have some logging data, which will be used by the networking team, some by the operations team, some by the SOC, some by the NOC, but very often they're not using the same data and they're not using the same tools. And the last point, with the area, everything moving now to SaaS and the cloud, the lack of direct control over process data is a concern, because once you forward all your log data to a cloud-based SIEM vendor, it will be very hard to get the data back out or only at a cost. What is Security Lake? Security Lake is an AWS managed service which automatically centralizes data from AWS environments, but also from SaaS providers, on-prem, and other cloud sources. It optimizes and manages security and also the life cycle of storage. It normalizes the data in an open standard called OCSF, more on the next slide. And it gives you different tools to analyze that data, which is stored in Security Lake, either with AWS tools or with non-AWS tools. I briefly mentioned OCSF. Amazon, Splunk, and many others have chosen for security data the Open Cybersecurity Schema framework. And while initially, when it was launched in August 22, there were only about 18 partners, the last I counted in April this year, we already had 180 participants, so even more than here. What is the goal? By having all the security log data in a common framework, searching that data will become much more efficient, faster, better. The last slide to summarize. So if you look holistically at Amazon Security Lake, on the left side, you see the sources. And you see VPC, S3, Lambda, CloudTrail, Route 53, Security Hub. Recently, we also added EKS, and last week we added WAF to that set of log files. We also have support for partner sources and custom sources. The middle is the magic Amazon Security Lake, which ingests, normalizes, manages the lifecycle, manages subscriber, and does the orchestration to make sure everything is working well together. Because it's a managed service, we are hiding all that from you. But for demonstration purposes, we wanted to add it to the slide. And on the right slide, we have the subscribers. We have the Amazon tools like Asina, OpenSearch, SageMaker, if you want to go into the AI ML business. You also have partner subscribers like Subprime, Splunk, and all the other partners we have. And that concludes the summary of what was talked about Security Lake last time. And I want to hand over now to Ruslan for the side from Subprime.
Should I share my screen?
Yeah, I stop sharing.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, Mark, thanks for introduction into Security Lake on AWS side. I will continue describing and talking about Subprime platform, how we work, what we do, how we integrate with Security Lake, and later we will cover the demonstration. So what Subprime is? Subprime equips security teams with global threat detection platform, right? Enabling collective cyber defense against attacks of any sophistication. And Subprime platform, it helps for detection engineering, it helps for threat hunters, and to address detection as code, to improve or to create the processes of detection as code. Our platform consists of 3 products. Attack Detective, that we'll be covering in details today. It helps to proactively hunt for threats, and powered by Threat Detection Marketplace. And Threat Detection Marketplace is the largest library of threat detection rules. And we also have an encoder that's a pilot for detection engineering, and it's being used as IDE for any threat hunters, detection engineers, SOC analysts to create, to validate the rules, or even to translate from one query language to another. And yeah, as I mentioned, today we'll be covering Attack Detective. So Attack Detective is a SaaS solution for advanced threat hunting. What it gives, how it works, I'll show you, but I'll briefly highlight the main capabilities of Attack Detective. So what Attack Detective does, it scans your environment. It scans, it does threat scan, scans your security lake environment, and it gives you MITRE tagged, MITRE visibility of if your environment is compromised. With regards to links to suspected actors, TTPs that are in use, maybe like tools, right? So all the data, all the threat content that we have on the platform, we are big fans of MITRE. So everything is tagged with MITRE. And you will have that high-level information of your environment. And then if we drill down, if we kind of get the details of the scan itself, it gives you the heat map. It helps you to explore threats that you may face in your environment. And it gives you the opportunity to prioritize mitigation or incident response. And just 1 second. Yeah. So how this works, the integration with Amazon Security Lake. So to the left, that's our platform, that's SOC Prime Sign. To the right, you see the DBLS account. So as Mark mentioned, the data is in Security Lake, right? Customer may have Security Lake, it collects the information, log sources, data sources, either AWS specific log sources or custom ones. So our platform, within our platform, we don't really take anything back to our platform to process. Instead of getting the data in our platform, we are sending the algorithms, we are sending threat detection content to Security Lake via Amazon Athena. It's kind of JDBC connection to Amazon Athena, and then Athena interacts with Security Lake, and the data that is in Security Lake. We don't really collect anything sensitive, don't really get back any sensitive data, usernames, like host names, whatever. So everything sensitive, everything private that you have in Security Lake keeps and lives in Security Lake. And then at the bottom, to the left, you see the Frame Hunt. That's an extension, browser extension that helps to work with results. I'll demo everything. You'll be able to see how it works. And pretty much all this integration, I'll demo and I'll show you how it works. Yeah, that's Prime Hunt. We will see how it works. And a couple of words with regards to the demo itself. So we didn't really want to just demo the product, just like integration of Security Lake and Attack Detective. We decided to run real emulation, and I don't know, we just chosen Stratus Red Team as a source, as a tool for doing the emulation. And if you're familiar with Stratus Red Team, then you know that this is Atomic Red Team for cloud, allowing to emulate offensive attack techniques, and then you are able to kind of validate whether you are able to detect, whether you are able to log those emulations, those techniques that are being used, whether the appropriate logs are being logged and being ingested in security lake. And then you may validate your detection stack. And that's pretty much what I'll show today. Let me check. Okay, I just switched to the whole screen. So what we have as an input for the demo, we have short-front platform, threat detection marketplace, encoder, attack detector. We have, maybe let's do the following. Let me open. Well, actually, yeah, that's fine. We got Amazon Athena that will be doing our integration and demo with what we have. Oh yeah, I just wanted to show you the Stratus Red team. So pretty much what it, I guess we will share, if you need, we will share the links to the website just to do the validation and the testing. Also, they are on Git. Quite easy to install, quite easy to use. And let's take a look over here. So specifically for AWS, they got a number of emulations, different tactics, different techniques, a list of those. I decided that we do 3, I guess, of those. And let's take a look. So we may execute the command list to get all the emulations that Stratus got under its hood. It also contains other for other platforms, but we're interested in AWS. So that's the list of all the techniques of all the emulations for AWS. I will detonate, I will execute the emulations, and I will show you that the logs, the events are logged in CloudTrail. So we will be able to see that, okay, this is like real example, real use case. And we will be able to see that, okay, CloudTrail logged that event. Let's start with something really simple. I know, like this one. Console login without MFA. So, Nate. Oh, let's type. So what it does, it has a couple of stages, like cold, warm, and execution itself, and then cleanup. So as you can see over here, it will try to authenticate my account. It will try to prepare, kind of to warm up the environment, to create the configuration, to create all the preparations for this an emulation to execute. Well, yeah, it takes some time to execute, especially you may face something like high number of secrets, those type of emulations. It will take a lot of time to execute, but still, this one was quite fast. Then let me, I don't know, choose something from defense, evasion, stop CloudTrail. This one, while it's being executed, let's go to CloudTrail. This is my account. And Let's take a look. Not yet, but I guess we will get the, oh yeah, that's something being executed by itself. All events are not here yet, but we will run another emulation. So, okay, what we did, we did the first one, initial access, and so login without multi-factor authentication. It gave me the output that, oh, wait, something didn't error. 10 minutes, allow. Alternating the attack, initial enable to authenticate to AWS received fail. Okay, let's try another one, another attempt. Yeah, after this one is finished, I'll try another attempt. The second one was defense evasion, cloud trail stop. So it showed me that that was the cloud trail itself, and that it was stopped. And the third use case, what we did was exfiltration. EC2 share AMI is Amazon machine image. So pretty much EC2 image that might be shared, might be even shared to public access. And all those cases and test scenarios, you may find over here, and you will get the description of what is that. Okay, let's go and detonate Zoom panel. Let me detonate it. I know, I'm getting an error. Not warming up. It's already warm. Let's do like this. Let's go to AWS console. Let's take a look at our CloudTrail, and let's see if we have the events that were generated by Stratus Red Team. So as we can see, oh yeah, and by the way, to authenticate Stratus Red Team, I created a user, SRT, in Stratus Red Team. So all the activities that are being done by Stratus Red Team should be executed via under this user. And what we can see over here is get bucket policy, that bunch of activities were logged by CloudTrail, meaning that we should have those events in Security Lake. Because I enabled Security Lake, and I said, okay, all the CloudTrail events should be in Security Lake. And we may see that, okay, create trail, start login, somewhere, yeah, like stop login, that what I executed. I executed defense evasion, stop the trail. So I got this event under the SRT user. Describe images. Yeah, it seems to me that's the events related to the third use case that was exfiltration and share Amazon machine image, because it created a volume, created a snapshot, and then kind of provided the access to this image. So we do see a bunch of activity. As you can see that the time is like real. Then let's assume that we have data. We have everything in CloudTrail. And I may actually run all of those. I may run, there are a bunch of different emulations, projects, tools to emulate, and a lot of data is in your security lake. How do I find them? How do I, not like one by one, but in automated manner, if I want to find what's going on in my environment, whether I'm exposed to any threats, whether I'm missing something. So then that's the time for Attack Detective to come on stage. And what we'll do is we will run a threat scan. We will do an investigation on our security lake, and we will see whether I'm able to catch those threats, catch those emulations that I did just now. Okay, let me name it AWS itself, RAM, that's me. And I already created the data plane. Just a quick highlight that to add a data plane, if we select Athena, I just need to provide a couple of credentials, access key, secret key, database, guide is here. So nothing really special, nothing really too complicated. I did create that environment. That's my environment, AWS, Security Lake, RAM, Ruslan. It says that, okay, the connectivity is in place, run the data audit. So what data audit is? Data audit is something that we do analyze the environment and understand what log sources, what data sources you have in your environment, right? To be able to pre-select and predefine and select the content that you should run, that Attack Detective should run in your environment. Because why would I run all the detections that I have for AWS if I don't have the specific events, like event name, event sources, or for that in my environment? I want to run threat hunt, threat scan efficiently, only on the log sources, only on something that I have data on, and not just saying that, okay, I do have CloudTrail management over here, but also we do check what event names, event sources we have to pre-select the appropriate content. In this case, those tables are empty. That's why I don't really have the data in them, and no content for that. CloudTrail. I selected CloudTrail. It says that for my environment, I have that many detections for AWS. And then after the data audit is done, I may choose a scenario. What scenario is? I may say that, okay, I want to scan my environment having like a full scan, meaning that all the content that are applicable and relevant to your environment will be used. Or you may use either pre-built, latest exploits, cert alerts, top techniques, or you may create your own scenario. So pretty much just a name, and then you may specify a content list or your custom repo from Threat Action Marketplace, and you may select. So this is the option that you may want to use if you do a specific threat hunting hypothesis. For example, okay, tomorrow I want to scan my environment against those TTPs. So you may predefine the content that will be used in that scan. maybe actors, tools, techniques, or like having custom tags. So in TDM, you may threat action marketplace, you may create a list, and you may like static list. It's the list where you put the content and it stays in the list, or like a dynamic list is something live, right? So whenever we put something new on the platform and it might be added automatically to the list itself, saying that, okay, those TTPs, I want the tool or APT 29, 28, APT 40, whatever. I want the list with all the content applicable to that actor to be auto-populated because I want to use it in my custom scenario. So something like I got a predefined cloud trail list and I may create something custom. In this case, we will just run for ease of demonstration and to give the idea how it works, we will just use a full scan. Pretty much everything relevant, everything applicable will be executed. So I just choose full scan, start scan, and it starts scanning my environment. By the way, I guess, yeah, let me close this. The scan, to run it effectively, we don't really push too many queries at once. Because pretty much your environment, it should be still under the normal operation, right? The team might be working with it. So we don't really want to put a lot of stress on your environment, not to slow down the performance. So scan, it may take some time. And pretty much, yeah, that's the scan that I just launched. I do have pretty much the same scan that I just prepared before the webinar. And as you may see, it took 15 minutes to complete. So while this scan is running, I'll show you what we have as a scan results. And later we will take a look and we will get details of this current scan that is in progress. But just assume that the scan is over. As I mentioned, in scan results, you will see the heat map showing you when you got hits, right? When the threat detection content produced your hits or produced your incidents. Well, maybe not incidents, but an input for you to work with to get to understand whether this is benign, false positive, or incident. And as we can see over here, there's 3 use cases that I executed. AWS login without MFA, then possible exfiltration of sharing the AMI, and then I have defense evasion by stopping the cloud trail service. What it gives me, so this content was taken from threat detection marketplace, and all the information, all the suggestions and recommendations, description is also over here saying what it is, timeline, saying that, for example, if it's It gives you the timeline. It gives you the idea of when the rule was detected, media links associated with the detection, maybe like CV exploit, if any, and so on. And false positive section, take a look how to deal with false positives, what to check, how to check whether true positive, false positive, and the same goes with triage recommendation. And the interesting part about that is I may drill down to see those specific hits that were triggered by this rule. So if I click Hunt, it opens me Amazon Athena, it opens me the query, and it gives me that many hits. As I mentioned, you see hash over here. As I mentioned, we don't really collect anything back to the platform. No host names, no usernames, no nothing. But just to have the information of how many accounts, how many maybe like hosts or services, in some cases, because we don't have hosts over here, maybe like EC2 instances, but in this case, we have account, right? So how many were affected? We just do the calculation of the hash. So this information doesn't give me a lot of details, much sense. Like one hit, this account, the time, what is it? So that's when the prime hunt comes onto the stage. So if I run, I got this add-on installed, I got this query executed, and it says that, okay, I detected that your query contains statement that limits the fields in the result. It limits and it gives me hash. What I can do, I'll show you that this query with the hashes will be translated to the original query of the rule. So it was translated, run, and it should give me the events themselves with all the data. Yep. It gives me the event with all the information, those two hits. And also it helps me to get the values of needed fields from the event, from the whole event. So in this case, I know that, for example, username is like actor username, and that's the username that did this console login without MFA. User UID, yeah, root, I guess that's me, and that's the user itself. And I can actually process the query over here in this tab. I can add or remove conditions by just clicking, I want the event just for this username, click, the condition added, run, and I will, I guess I'll have only the hits by the specific user. Yep, result one, that's exactly the user that did that console again. And it works with any rule that I have on my heat map. Machine, defense evasion, whatever, any click, drill down to Athena, got the results. Unhash or the results themselves, and the prime hunt, it just helps me, just like hence my capability of working on the Athena interface. By the way, let's go back and let's take a look on our, okay, so 7 minutes already. That many queries were executed out of 87, 40 out of 87. 3 rules triggered. Let me take a look. Let me just refresh it. Over here, by the way, it shows me the progress, and as always, logs what were executed, any errors, if any, you'll get, oh, come on. Let me take a look. It generates, I guess, the output for me to work with. So pretty much the flow was, and we were able to successfully execute. The very first step was to detonate, to emulate some malicious activity, right? We executed a couple of the use cases. Then we were able to double check that the events themselves have been logged, were logged by CloudTrail. We saw that Stratus SRT user were in use, and a lot of events were generated under that user. Then we were able to see that the events, well, the next step was we kind of executed we started the scan. We were able to see that all the malicious intent activity were captured by Attack Detective. All the events that were pre-generated and executed were captured by Attack Detective. We were able to drill down to Athena, an interface to work with Security Lake, and on top of that, we were able to work with the Prime Hunt, the add-on that helps you to work with the queries. That helps you to, that's too small. That helps you to work with the values of the field, and pretty much, yeah, it was like auto-detected, actor username or user UID, but you may add any field that you want to work with, and it will be auto-populated with all the values, and it just leaves within your page, so nothing sensitive is being kind of sent anywhere. That actually what I wanted to share, that actually what I wanted to demonstrate, to show you. If there are any questions, feel free to ask, feel free to paste them in the chat or reach out after the webinar. We'll be happy to answer the questions. Thanks for having me here.
So Ruslan, I think you did a very good demonstration which showed how the subprime toolset can be integrated with all the data collected into the Amazon Security Lake. I think it's a very compelling interface. It demonstrates also how you can use external tooling, like tooling provided by subprime, to get insights from all the data in Security Lake. So we don't want to have here pretty much the webinar waiting for another 5 minutes till we have all the results. Should there be any questions for either me or Ruslan, please put them in the Q&A or reach out to either of us by email, and we will be happy to answer any questions, help you with a demonstration in your environment, or help you set up an evaluation of the whole tooling. With that, some last words from you, Ruslan?
Yeah, thanks for having us here. I'm really glad we did this demonstration. Yeah, that's the result of the scan. So not sure like a fake one. That's the scan that's currently in progress, as you may see. And any queries, all the hits are being captured, all the bad guys are being captured. Yeah, as Mark mentioned, if you got any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We'll be happy to help. Maybe like a deep dive session, maybe like a demo, extra demo with all the functionalities of the platform, threat detection marketplace, how it works with Encoder and Attack Detective. It's pretty much even over here, you see that opening Encoder. This is something extra kind of to tune, to work with the rule itself, to translate maybe like from one query language to another. So if any of those are of your interest, feel free to reach out to us. Yeah, thanks.
Oh, thank you again, and have a great morning, afternoon, or evening. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Cheers. Thanks, Mark.